Hi, I'm Warren Sprouse. You're on the Bible Forum. We do this every Sunday night from 8 to 10. You can join us live, be in the chat room. I want to look to the news that's coming to us today in light of the Bible. And I want to take you back in time to 70 AD. History records the destruction of Jerusalem, the city, in 70 AD by the Romans. A destruction that came about as a result of Israel's rebellion against Rome. 40 years earlier, a prophet by the name of Jesus of Nazareth, told his disciples how that would be. You can read it in your Bible, Matthew chapter 24, first couple of verses. The verses say, "And Jesus went out and departed from the temple. And his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down." Hard to believe. But about 40 years later, that's exactly what happened. The Romans came, led by Titus. They besieged the city of Jerusalem. The people inside starving. They were eating other people presumably who had died. When they finally were able to breach the walls and to get in, they rampaged throughout everything and they tore up everything. And the temple especially, because it was festooned with gold. And they set fires to melt the gold. And they tore down the walls and they tore up the flooring because of the gold that might have gotten down in there. The place was completely decimated. And Jesus had said, not one stone would be found upon another. Now, in this passage, it gets a little confusing. We're talking about Matthew 24 and 25, very great prophetic passages. But when you get to verse 3, it's not clear unless you really pay attention to it, but he actually begins a new discussion. He's not talking about, he just said, here it is. You're talking about the temple. I'm going to tell you about the temple, but let me tell you about this. And this is something we miss out on. Not seeing the distinction between these two discussions. But the Bible says, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us when these things shall be. And they mistakenly connected, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Surely this event would not take place until the end of the age." But as history teaches us, there were two separate things going on here. They assumed something. They assumed a concept rooted in Jewish literature and understanding of God's program. One of the key elements of life in the nation of Israel is this very event, an event that sent Israel into dispersion, the great diaspora, for more than 1,800 years. A dispersion that ended in 1948. Something Israel is planning to celebrate next year, May 14th, 2018. A year prophetic scholars see as a pivotal point in God's program, meaning it very well may signal the end of the Christian age, when God removes the church from this world. In harmony with all of this, the archaeological efforts to unravel the historical events, looking at the pieces that confront them, they this year found what they had spent 2 years excavating, hoping to find, and it all revolves around an area called Wilson's Arch. Now, I put a picture of that on the website. It may not be easy to note. Wilson's Arch, great big arch you could walk through. Well, the debris and construction over the millennia has raised the floor to where the arch is now only about 6 or 8 feet high. And you can see through it. Well, they've been digging around in there for years. They have found a long-lost ancient Roman theater there in that old city. The announcement read, "Excavations, archaeological dig under Wilson's Arch also uncovers 8 previously unknown layers of Western Wall stones." That was recorded on October 16th of 2017. Now, Wilson's Arch is not a gate of the city. It's an arch supporting a bridge leading away from the Temple Mount on the west side near the Western Wall, the Wailing Wall. Artist renditions show it angling down off of the level at which the temple is lodging. The significance is in what it reveals about the destruction of Israel in 70 AD. British surveyor and archaeologist Charles William Wilson was the first to seek such a theater in the vicinity of the Western Wall back in 1860. The small 200 to 300 seat theater is noted by Josephus Flavius and other ancient sources, but it had to date remained a mystery. And you say, well, what is the significance here? Significance that a Roman structure would be found in Jerusalem. Well, it confirms, it supports history's recording of a Roman invasion. In the course of their work, directly beneath Wilson's Arch, the area immediately adjacent to the men's section of the Western Wall, they discovered a small Roman theater. After the Roman conquest in 70 AD, the Roman colony was established and was named after the Roman god Jupiter and the Emperor Hadrian, who began reconstructing the city in 130 AD. Following the bloody Bar Kokhba revolt in 132-136, Jews were banned from the capital except on a day of mourning commemorating the destruction of the temple. Archaeologists have dated the layers of their excavations using pottery and coins and that sort of thing, and now with a new version of the carbon-14 technique. The result is that they believe very strongly that what they have found dates pretty solidly to the late Roman period. The team expects to continue excavations until next spring, moving them one step closer to solving the riddle that took place in Jerusalem following the destruction of the city in 70 AD. Now, it's all very interesting. What has it got to do with God and the Bible and Jesus and any of that? Well, Jesus walked in those places. These places are very known in Jewish writings and in the gospel accounts. But now Arabs control that area. Jews and Gentiles are able to dig on the outside of the wall, go under. They have to be very careful that they don't go under areas that are controlled by the Muslims. And they have to take pains to shore up everything so that nothing moves. They have to do this. But they are learning every day, and they're finding more and more stuff. If you go to the other side of the compound, the Temple Mount, we're on the Western Wailing Wall, the West Wall, go over to the east side, and you will see a giant 2-arch doorway gate kind of thing that's been sealed up. That is the proverbial Eastern Gate. And it was sealed up I believe, by the Germans back in the late 1800s, because the German general understood the Bible's account that the Messiah would make his entrance through that gate. And he didn't want that to happen. Now, for all these years, nobody's messed with it. And what the Bible seems to indicate is that the western or the eastern gate, as a direct look straight across, would be the temple. Well, what people have found out is that if you look right straight across from the eastern gate, there is no temple. It's not there. Now, the mosque, the Muslim mosque, is on that footing, but it's a little off to the left. But not a lot. And so it could be. And so the argument becomes, how are we going to build a temple up there that's in the place where it's supposed to be? The mosque is in the way. Well, we'll tear it down. Yeah, you could blow up the earth too, because that's what it would probably take. Well, in the last decade or so, folks have been rummaging around underneath. You see, this whole layer is a lot higher than it used to be, and this is the way it is throughout the world, where you have ancient civilizations. They build on top of each other, on top of the top, and they go down underneath, and what they have found is the remnant of an arch in the wall below what you see. And that arch is just slightly to the right of what is now the Eastern Gate. So archaeologists believe that that's the old Eastern Gate. And when they take soundings and measurements on that one, it looks directly across to an empty spot. And so now the argument is, well, there is room to build a temple on the mount and not interfere with the mosque. Can you picture that happening? Well, not in today's political religious environment. But imagine a day coming when there is a world dictator with the power of life and death who wants to unite all of these religions for his purposes. Think he could do it? I think he could do it. I think he will. Can you say 666? It's coming. And these things are just fascinating, aren't they?